We refer to our Ukrainian partners as first responders. They are the ones that, at the onset of the invasion, opened their doors to receive the desperate people in search of safety from the enemy. Our first responders answered the call on their lives and shared Christ's love and the gospel while physically sustaining hundreds daily. Pastor Vova and his wife Oksana serve in the small town of Yarmolinsky in western Ukraine. When the war began, they opened their doors and accepted hundreds of internally displaced people who came to them seeking physical and spiritual aid. On the second night of the war, Pastor Vova and Oksana served 108 adults and children from a boarding school with limited resources. They continued to stretch their supplies to provide food and heat and shelter to their guests and transportation to get refugees to safety further west. Needless to say, after months of this work, this pastor and his wife were physically exhausted and emotionally depleted. Last summer, we encouraged all our first responders to consider their mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. We offered to help them financially so they could schedule some time away from the exhausting, overwhelming work of directing a relief ministry in hopes they would experience this scriptural reminder in Psalm 23:3. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. June offered a time to take a break. For 5 days, Vova and Oksana enjoyed some rest and a change of scenery in the Slovakian mountains. Vova attended a pastor's conference that filled and refreshed his soul. Your donations to our Ukraine Relief Fund will allow Reed Ministries to walk alongside all other first responders just like Vova and Oksana as they seek to faithfully follow the encouragement of the scriptures to do good to all people, especially those who are part of the household of faith.
Imagine the learning curve our partners experienced as they quickly pivoted from shepherding churches and seminaries to managing refugee centers. Each of these partners has answered the call on their lives to stay and serve. Our colleagues have learned to cope, get creative, and become more efficient in providing for their communities, not on their own, but in the strength of the Lord. Their united testimony echoes that found in Exodus 15. The Lord is my strength and my song, and He has become my salvation. This is my God, and I will praise Him, my Father's God, and I will exalt Him.
Financial resources are needed for these resource centers to continue to thrive. We would ask you to support Reed Ministries as we continue God's work in and through the people of Ukraine. It's through your faithful prayer and financial support that Reed can empower our brothers and sisters to carry the love of Christ into the country of Ukraine. Thank you for being with us as we do all the Lord entrusts us to do.